Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 208 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon and special guest. Should we get right into introducing our special guest? A lot of people are excited for this.
Should we take the same amount of time it took him to actually get his computer working? Should we have like a 13-minute break right here and then get him on? Or
wow, giving him a hard time about it up front.
The same people that did my computer are the same people that sent you the hats, Dave.
I guess. I guess at this point.
That's amazing. So we're very excited and pleased to have Derek from DVC Resale Market joining us. Derek has been joining us for a long time now, a really long time, and we love having Derek on. It's a little weird, Derek, because we usually have you with Marissa. So Marissa decided to bail on us today. It's just you know,
yeah,
which is fine. I'm just saying, Marissa's always your partner in crime on these things. So
normally it's a 2-for-1 deal, but unfortunately, you guys are just stuck with me. So maybe she's got big Super Bowl plans today or whatnot, or with her new fancy title of like marketing director of the entire DVC universe. So
what? She just got too big for us? Is that what that is? So, well, okay. So before Damon gives you a hard time about hats, if you wanted to, we probably have some new listeners that are not familiar with you, Derek. So if you could give us just like a quick minute elevator speech of who you are and your background and all that stuff.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, thank you again for having me on. I think this is the show that I've done more than any other show. So I absolutely love it. You guys have the best audience in the whole entire world. So thank you for having me on. My name is Derek. I'm 6'4". I'm a Scorpio. I enjoy long walks in the rain. No, I've been.
Are you really 6'4"? Like, are you just like a huge guy? That's
I am huge, David. Exactly.
I had no idea you were 6'4". Now, because we haven't really gotten to meet in person, right? So yeah.
Wait, has nobody met Derek in person?
No,
we've met Trevor came between me and him last time I tried.
Yeah. Trevor and I were supposed to meet up, but something happened. I think just life got in the way. The last time that Trevor was here, we really
no, it was a hurricane. It was Mother Nature getting in the way, Derek.
Wait, so Derek, I'm going to be down there in June and not going to the parks. So I want to come to the offices.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of course, you're more than welcome to.
I want to come see where the magic happens.
He wants to see what other swag he can get off of you.
No, I'm gonna be bringing our swag at that point. It will be a reverse swag trip.
Oh, okay. I like that.
Exactly. No, I will be more than happy to have you in the offices. I'll be more than happy to meet you wherever you're going to be staying. Where are you staying?
Staying at the tree houses. But like I said, I don't think we're going to the park, to be honest with you. So we're going to have a lot of free time. We're playing another family in foot golf. So there is a foot golf thing going on. But outside of that, I don't think anything.
Of course. Yeah, non-park trips are the best trips that you can possibly make, in my opinion.
We want to play mini golf. We want to go to Gatorland. We want to do all the stuff that we don't do.
You got to try we did for the first time ever. We did the Universal mini golf.
Yeah. So we had talked about that on the board. I think we're going to try that.
Oh my God, it was flipping awesome. We loved it. Loved it. It was fantastic. It was way better than the Blizzard Beach mini golf or all that. Yeah, it was awesome. It was great. So,
all right.
Yeah. So, thanks for having me on. I was a Disney cast member for, over 20 years and worked at Disney Vacation Club for a super long time and been a member for 20 years and been blessed enough to be able to do this show with you guys for many, many, many years as well. So, we just love to be able to talk to folks about the magic of Disney Vacation Club and answer their questions that they have about Disney Vacation Club and see what works best for them. Because again, research is absolutely key, and why thousands and thousands of people buy with us each and every year is because they just take the time to do research, and it works out and goes, hey, you know what? I can buy this same amazing product known as Disney Vacation Club, but I can save 20 to 50%. So I might as well do it and buy with the DVC Resale Market. I think last year we sold almost $100 million of folks that were doing their DVC research. So you guys have been partners with us for like the very beginning. And like I said, I absolutely love your audience. We love when folks reach out to us. We love your engagement on social media. So yeah, thank you for having me on.
That 100 million was just from our listeners, right? That was. But anyway, so Derek, we have we do have some questions. Well, first of all, wait, I don't know if Damon wants to give you a hard time about hats.
I don't, because I have my hats now. I just, again, now that they're here, the journey really doesn't matter, right? It's the destination, I guess. But they are really nice. Again, as I said on the board, not that I was doubting them, but the quality of the hats is superior to what I expected, which is not a knock. It's just, a general expectation of custom hats. They're really nice.
Well, and again, Damon, thank you for your patience. And I know we promised you a hat. I think it was back in 1993.
Seems about right. I was graduating high school. Yeah,
that's
right.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're finally able to get it. So I want to at least give you kind of a breakdown of exactly what happened. We send out our hats and our backpack. So for folks that purchase with us, get their little goodie swag. And it's done kind of on a bi-monthly basis. So every time that we would send stuff out, we would say, all right, send Damon a hat. Include Damon. Here's his address. Include the hat. This is what he's been waiting for it forever. And for some reason, it was absolutely maddening. Everyone else got every single item for the last few months except you. So I finally said, I am just going to, Tom, is it okay if I just send it to you? Because for some reason, it's not accepting if we send it. And I think we tried 3 or 4 times.
But Derek is making it out that I did not tell him that this was what was going to happen. I told him from day one, if you don't send it via UPS or FedEx, it is never making it to my house. But they couldn't get that through their mailing system, I feel like. No. UPS is like a total crapshoot. I've missed out on, mortgage stuff on my my license didn't come. How's that one for you? Oh, I just didn't get a license. Like, okay, so what do I do now? Like the license didn't show up. I had to go and request a secondary license. So my first license in this state is a duplicate because I couldn't get my first one. So it's just a little bit of a mess here in terms of postal service. But UPS is pretty good and FedEx is fine.
Yeah, and if anything, it really resulted in probably some of the best memes of all time. So
that's true.
Appreciate some of those memes every single time. And I was like, oh my God, when I heard that you actually finally got your hat, I was like, oh crap, now all the memes are going to stop. Like, what's Jeremy and Francisco going to do, and Becky? Like,
they'll find other things to make funny.
Now that you have that. But just so you know, you have officially been added to the list. So for every 2 months, you're probably going to be receiving a hat. So,
that would be absolutely wonderful if they happen to show up. That would be great. Your life.
And don't worry, Derek, we're giving the Facebook group ammo right now. So they'll find
They always find things to give us a hard time about. So
yeah. And I'm sending you guys hats too. So Tom and Trevor, you guys are getting hats as well. So I promise. I feel like Oprah right now.
You get a hat. You get a hat.
That's for everybody. Everybody's getting hats.
Well, it's funny though, because you sending these hats out got us just talking before the show about how we need to do another hat run and maybe even use our new logo here too. So,
they actually are really, really good hats. I mean, they're like good quality hats, especially the bucket hat is like super cool. I'm normally not a big bucket hat guy, but that hat's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Damon, does the bucket hat actually fit your head? Because you've been talking.
It does.
Oh wow!
It does. Okay. I think it's the Epcot one just happens to be smaller. But now that I have a hat stretcher, like I feel like I'm pretty safe. But no, they fit fine. I think those also though came in sizes. When it's a one size fit all, it becomes a little bit harder, right? Because if you at least need to have 2 bucket hat sizes, and I believe this had a size on it, so it was fine.
Okay. Well, that's helpful. All right. Well, should we do some DVC questions, and then we'll go on to some other things here? Does that sound good? All right.
Fire away.
All right. So Chris wants to know, does Derek think what DVC decides to do association-wise with the Poly Tower will have an effect on resale prices for the resort? If it is different, will prices see a hit because it suddenly becomes somewhat less desirable, or vice versa if in the same association? So I'm guessing if Chris is trying to say, like, are they going to do what they did with Grand Flow, or are they going to do, something different?
Yeah, I mean, I'm asked that question a lot.
All the time.
Honestly. So a lot of people love it. And I wish I knew the official answer. When folks tell me, and of course, I'm more than happy to give my own opinion. My personal opinion, and again, don't go back and say, Derek said, but my personal opinion, just after, being a member for so long and working with Disney for so long, is that it's going to be a different association. And I say that just because Disney's going to have more live product to sell coming up than I think they ever have in the history of the company. So between Alani, which they're,
we'll never
going to be selling that till the year 3000, they're going to have Alani, they're going to have still the Grand Floridian, they're still going to have Riviera, you're going to have the Disneyland Tower, and then you're going to throw in the Polynesian. That I just think that they're going to look at this and say, you know what, we have to make it special. We have to have a reason, or else people will literally look. Because again, there's people that are literally waiting until Disney makes their mind up to say, we're ready to buy, 100, 200, 300 points at the Poly, but we just want to know what association fee it's going to be in. Can I use my points at the new tower, or is it only going to be the old tower? So I just think that Disney's going to need as much ammo as they possibly can, in terms of selling live. Because when I was a direct vacation club guide, the worst thing that you could give people were too many choices. Like you didn't want to have people say, wow, this product's amazing, but you know what? We're going to go home because we need to think about which resort is going to be best for us. So I think for them, they need to have it under the same under a different association, meaning if people ask and say, so can I buy the Polynesian on the resale market and use my points to stay at that, pretty new tower? And for them to say, absolutely not. You cannot use your resale points to stay there. So that's just me. That's just my gut. Obviously, I would love for people to be able to use their resale points to stay there. But that's just my gut. So again, don't hold me to it, but it's just my personal opinion.
No, Derek, this is reckless speculation. So nobody takes our opinion seriously on the show. So you're good. You're covered. Go ahead, Trevor. What were you going to say?
I was just going to reinforce what Derek was saying about too many choices. That is a real psychological thing, that if you give people too many choices, they default to not making a choice. So that totally makes sense that they would not give you all the options in the world.
Well, and that's just it. It's like, for us on the resale side, which again is just, what we love to be able to do is because we get to not a commercial, but we get to save people a ton of money, but you also get to pick the resort that you need, So it's, when you're meeting with someone direct, they're going to sit and tell you and say, of course you can use your points to go to the Food and Wine Festival and stay at the Beach Club or stay at the Boardwalk if you buy the Riviera, blah, blah, blah. That's what they're going to tell you. But the point is, you want to buy what you need. And if that's, if certain resorts are what you need to buy, then you have to buy those specific resorts. And I think so, for folks that look and, they meet when they're on vacation, and that's what people do. And that's, again, that's how I bought, over 20 years ago, was meeting with someone and sitting down. But at that time, it was like, okay, if you want to join, you could buy the Boardwalk. And that's it. Like, that was the only choice. So it was like, perfect. We're going to buy the Boardwalk for, $70 a point in 1998 or 1999, whatever it was. But now you don't want a family sitting in front of you and saying, okay, let me take 5 different finance sheets home and let me figure out which one, just like you said, Trevor, is like, it's just too much for people. And then what they're going to do is when they go home, they just look and they do their research and go, okay, what's the resale market? You know what I mean? You want people to buy when they're in that ether and soaked in pixie dust and say, this is what I want. I can imagine buying anything else. But with so many live products coming on the horizon, it's crazy. I just cannot imagine that they would put it under the same condo association, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was actually just thinking about you, because we were doing this, Derek, and I realized I was looking at my points and I realized I just had 10 points that were like about to expire, and I don't know how it happened. And I realized it's because I have just this problem with I have 2 different use years, so I just find it annoying to manage. So I think I'm gonna sell my one contract and get everything in the same use year, so I'm not having this problem anymore because I'm so tired of it.
It's so funny you say that, Tom, because I literally have that conversation with people every single day where members will call and be like, so is it that much of a difference if I have a different use year? And I'm always, laying it out. But like, listen, here's the deal. You can do it. It's just more work, but nobody loves it. Like nobody shouts from the rooftops and say, I'm so happy I have 2 different use years and 2 different login, all that stuff. It's just, no one loves to do it, to have the 2 separate use years. So people make it work. But if you could go back in time to do it, everyone wants to keep it all under the same use year.
Oh, 100%. But to your point, by the way, just going back, I would doubt that but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm assuming that once the Disneyland Tower's on sale, are they going to be pushing that in Florida? I feel like they would probably push people more towards Riviera or Grand Floridian, right? And maybe save Disneyland for the
kind
Disneyland.
Of funny. I mean, I remember being a vacation club guide when the Grand Californian went on sale, and I tell this story, and I've told people this. Nobody wanted to buy the Grand Cal. They would pay us vacation club guides extra if we sold a family the Grand Californian versus if we sold them something in Florida. Meaning it kind of goes back to, we want you to buy what your family needs. But in terms of at that time, nobody wanted the Grand Californian. Nobody did. I mean, the discounts on that was people were buying that stuff with discounts for $80, $85 a point or something like that, just because, they'd never had a product there. Now, of course, you look at the Grand Cal and people go, oh my God, I would have bought 500 points at the Grand Californian if I would have known that. So I think the Grand Cal, just even the wait list, which is what they do for folks. So, before a live product goes on sale, you can always ask your, direct guide and say, let me know as soon as it goes on sale. I would imagine that I know because I have friends still there. Obviously, even my original vacation club guide, Gib McCain, he's already got pages and pages of people that are just dying to buy the Disneyland Tower. So it's going to be amazingly popular. So I think once folks realize, because again, you have people that look and go, okay, so I have, 10, 11 resorts in Florida to be able to use my DVC points for. But if I want to go out to Disneyland, I mean, you got one, you got the Grand Californian, which is amazing. And it also happens to be the smallest of all the DVC resorts. So I think this Disneyland Tower is going to be huge. And I think it's going to be amazingly popular. So I don't think they'll have that same problem that they had when the Grand Cal first went on sale.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we also have a question, Derek, from Jill saying it might be nice for him to speculate a bit on why the ROFR monster hasn't been very hungry lately, which is a fun way to put that. But
it is funny. And it's one of those things where we tell people, of course, people will laugh and be like, well, you guys are salespeople. So, now is always a great time to buy. Literally, now is a really great time to buy. I mean, we did almost $3 million in the last 7 days. And I think a huge part of that is a lot of folks realize that Disney right now is not buying contracts back. So I think we publish a report each month. And I think the last 2 months of the report, they bought back, I think, don't quote me on this, a total of 8 or 9 contracts. And all of those were at Copper Creek. So that means that, everybody that's buying Saratoga, everybody that's buying Old Key West, everybody that's buying, Animal Kingdom are able to get some amazing deals, are able to get done, which is crazy because normally this time of year, it's usually a little bit slow because Disney, has their, budget for the year. Right now, we just have so many listings that it's just this perfect storm of God, you know what? If I'm going to try to get a Saratoga for, under $100 a point to be able to go through ROFR, because in a few months, if it goes back to what it was last year, they're buying stuff back at, 120, 130. So it's just a great time to just be able to try. Just roll the dice. Not that anything's a sure thing, because that monster will definitely come back again. But now is an amazing time to try to get stuff through ROFR, because no doubt they're definitely going to be eating stuff up again soon. So hopefully it's going to be a few months or so. So now's a great time to try.
Yeah, I was going to say it kind of feels a little bit like the calm before the storm right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Right. I feel like that. Like when we compile the report each month, it's always like, and we always know, like I always tell people when they purchase, the best part is, we'll let you know when your contract goes to ROFR. We'll let you know when your contract comes out. I'm always the one that I have to tell people to say, once it goes into ROFR, our contract team will say, okay, your contract's gone in, and hey, congrats, 20, 30 days later, congrats, your contract is out. You made it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you don't want to hear from me, because if you hear from me at that 20 to 30 day mark, if I send you an email to say, hey, I just want to talk to you about your contract, I unfortunately have the job of being like the Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper.
I'm always the one to say,
the ROFR Reaper.
Yeah.
There's the meme, Derek. There's the meme. We found the meme.
There it is. It's already being made.
We found
Derek with a big giant hook. Yeah, I can see it. But yeah, I'm always the one to have to say, listen, they bought the contract back. But hey, you can try again. People ask, just a FYI, God, do I lose my money? No, of course not. Just move it over to a different listing and try again. Some people have tried twice, 3, 4, 5 times, but I'm the one that has to tell people that it doesn't go through. And it's been joyous because for the last few months, I haven't had to tell anyone that their contract has not gone through. And I've had so many amazing families from, your group that have said, oh my God, we got our contract through. We're so excited. We never thought it would actually pass for this. So yeah, it's been great. So I hopefully will not wear that Grim Reaper costume anytime soon. But like you said, Trevor, it's definitely in the closet. So hopefully I don't have to break it out.
Oh boy.
That's funny. I like it. All right. So the most important question of the episode comes from Dan, one of the prominent Dans in the group. What can Derek do to make Damon feel that a resale contract is a real contract?
I just don't think that's possible.
Damon, first, tell me why you don't feel like it's a real contract.
Can you do everything that another contract that's bought from Disney can do?
Yeah, so you
everything, every single thing.
Riviera.
Oh, okay, so every single thing.
But I mean, so
then it's irrelevant for me.
You can't use your points at the Riviera,
okay,
or anything that's not built yet. So you can use your resale points for the 14 original DVC resorts. You could use your points in Interval International, so the hundreds and hundreds of resorts all around the world.
I can't be missing out on anything, not one single iota.
Right. So what are you missing out on? You already have direct points. Yeah. So you already have a card, so you can get your little 10% off.
Oh, you're saying now?
Yeah, now.
Well, yeah. Don't you have direct points?
Yeah.
Right.
So
you're saying like a card. So what are you missing out on?
Yeah.
What am I missing out on now? Because I already have direct points. I don't know. I don't like the way your financing works. I'll be honest with you. Listen. The one thing that people are always going to say is that I speak it how I feel it.
That's true.
Right.
That's true.
And I just don't love that option. Right. Like we talked about this before. When I can walk in and get a contract from you guys with no money down, I'm in. Then I'd give it to you.
So if you
can do that at Disney
direct, and those points don't have any strings attached, can you go in there and say, I want to buy a contract with no money down?
Yes.
You can't.
I did last time.
I mean, you can pay cash for it, but you have to put money down if you're going to finance.
I think what I put down was $250 on a Riviera contract, 100 points.
What?
I think that was it.
I don't think that vacation guy's working there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't put down more than that. That's the whole thing, right? Like, I don't have to do anything special. I can just walk in any day I want and just be like, yeah, here's a couple $100, get me a contract, and we're good.
Yeah, that definitely
there's definitely an ease of purchase that's just a little bit different. And listen, I'm in a blessed place where I don't really care about that difference, right? So I'm good. I want easy. So that's it. And again, like all the joking aside, I mean, really, that's what it comes down for me is really just ease. And I feel like I want my points from Disney that just feels better. I don't know.
Sure. I mean, I get it. It's like a mental thing. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, for some, when they do their research, they look, because again, how you're able to buy a contract with like $200 down is like I joked about that we could never, ever, ever do that. It's always a 10% down. But if you look at it, people will look to say, hey, so what's the difference? Obviously, if I buy with you guys or if I buy direct from Disney, and a big thing is, sure, I mean, you buy direct from Disney, you can pay, 30 to, 50% more and you'll have your points within, a few days. Mm-hmm. Great. Other people will look to say, okay, you know what? I'm willing to save 5, 10, 15 grand and have the process take, 60 days or so, because I would rather save that money, and I'm still going to use the same member website that Johnny Smith did. I'm still going to use the same member phone number that Johnny Smith did. It's just Johnny Smith paid $200 a point and I paid $100 a point. So he might have had his points within 2 days, but great, I saved 20 to 30 grand. So it's all about whatever you're comfortable with. And again, that's what's great about what we do. If we talk to people and they literally say, hey, you know what, if it looks like it's better for you to buy direct, great. I've got a ton of friends, even my original vacation guide. I'm happy to give you their name, because then when you want to add more, you can add points with us. That's kind of the difference is, we want you to be a member of the club. So like you said, Damon, I mean, if some people need those points instantaneous, if they're afraid of the FOMO, the fear of missing out because they don't have direct points, that's totally fine. Totally fine. We'll steer you in whatever direction is going to work for you. It's just, we just hear every single day. And I've heard it, I think 7 times, no joke, since 9 a.m. this morning, of people that have called in to say, oh my God, I wish I would have found you guys sooner, because they looked and they looked into the club and they looked, and Disney is like, hey, here's the resort you got to buy for, $200 a point. And then they did research, which is what, nobody at Disney wants to hear is, let me go home and think about it. Because when they go home to think about it, they do research and they realize that it makes more sense to buy with us. But for us, and that's what I always want to stress, especially if there's new listeners there, that, we want you to do whatever's going to be best. We're not going to, pressure you to buy with the DVC Resale Market. If you're doing research, we'll answer your questions about how the club works. That's what we do first and foremost. And if it turns out like, hey, I need to buy this because I want to use it for a trip on spring break, you know what? Don't buy with us. Because it's not going to happen
too long,
because it takes a while to close. So we're more than happy to say, listen, that's a perfect time for you to go ahead and buy direct with Disney, because you're going to get your points right away. So we really want to figure out, what's going to be best.
And I think I would say that, I mean, I'm definitely in the minority, and I get that, and I understand that. So yeah, for a lot of people, it definitely works. I think the other thing that maybe I always want the longest amount of time for my contract. And it is a little harder if you're worried about a few years here and there to find a resale contract for a brand new resort, right? And that's just me personally. That's just, again, a FOMO thing, I think, more than anything. So those are probably my issues with it. But I understand that I'm truly in the minority with that, and that's okay.
It is a very easy, I will say, it is a very easy process to buy. It's a little scary easy, actually, to buy a contract. But the financing piece is different. I haven't had to finance. I've in the past, I've just paid cash. So I haven't had to do the financing piece, but I will say through DVC Resale Market, it is very, very simple to buy.
I would be too stressed over that waiting, too. That just would, not even stress, I think annoying. I think I'd be annoyed. Like, I woke up and I was like, all right, I'm buying Riviera points, right? And that was it. And by the end of the day, like, I bought Riviera points and it was done with, and it was over. It was off my plate and I moved on. Like, I think that's the thing for me. But again, I'm okay being in the minority. And working with you guys, renting points was so extremely easy, right? So there is that as well. So I listen, I rock with half of the company. Like I just, I'm on side rental. Like I'm okay.
It's all right. And then when you have to go sell those Riviera points, we'll be able to help you do that.
Oh man. So
I would literally eat dog food for months before I sold my points. Like I knew I'd never sell my points.
Yeah.
Like that would just not happen. So
how many points do you have now total?
Well, so I have this weird situation where like my parents bought points as well, and I'm on their contract. So I consider those my points at this point, right? So if we add them in, I don't know, 500?
Oh my God.
A little under 500. It's like 475 maybe. Yeah, something like that.
He just bought more, Derek, because he needed that more than I did. That's what
I did. I absolutely do. So if Tom buys more, that's what I'm buying again.
What if I buy more though, just to get my use years in order? I mean, I'm probably going to buy and then sell. Like so. Yeah.
You tell me what your number is, and if it's over my number, I'm going to buy more points.
We're gonna sell Tom's contract, but I'm gonna put like a special tag on it, like this is Tom's contract. It's gonna have like a banner on it. And everyone's gonna be like, I want to buy this. Oh, I'll pay $10 more a point. It's Tom's contract.
Well, I also have a place to advertise it too. I'll just advertise it on the Facebook group, on the show here. You know, I'll get it sold fast.
Yeah, right.
That might be against our Facebook rules. You better watch yourself.
I was selling a contract. Yeah, it might be. So Derek, the only other one. So somebody had asked what your prediction was for the opening prices for the Disneyland Tower and Poly Tower. We asked you Disneyland before, what you thought the Disneyland Tower was going to be at. I think last time you were here, but I don't know if we asked you about what you think the Poly Tower is going to be at.
Yeah. So they're going to keep it all the same. And I'm looking at what the prices are, right now. So what are they selling? So Riviera right now is, like $217. So most of the stuff is in that $217. Grand Floridian is $217. So they're going to keep it the same price. So whatever the price
that's what Riviera is now, $217. That's what it is, $217. Yeah. Wow, I feel like I got a deal then.
$217. Well, yeah, except when you go to sell your Riviera contract, because
I told
Disney
you I'm never selling it, so I'm good.
That's where you're going to get
right out of his cold dead hands.
Exactly.
I'm never selling, says the 6,000 people that sold with us last year.
So I see, but I think Damon's going to stick to it, Derek. I think Damon is not going to.
It would never sell.
Right. No matter what,
he could be destitute and he wouldn't sell.
I'd be in a box. I'd be in a cardboard box.
I was just going to say.
I still have my DVC contracts.
You can live for 6 more months if you just sell your Riviera contract. You'd be like, no. Never. I would think that by the time this goes on sale, I think this is just my prediction, that I think we're going to be looking at that $230, $240 range for that, for the Poly and the Disneyland Tower. So I would think, $240, $250 perhaps. And like anything, when it goes on sale, it'll go on sale to members first. And then it'll have a huge discount for members to add points always. So you're always going to have that, $10 to $20 a point discount for members, especially if you're like the first ones to be able to do it, which there'll be a ton. But they always keep all the prices around that exact same price. So that's why, people were like, I can't believe that, Disney's selling the Grand Floridian was like, $180 a point back when they, resold it. Again, now it's up to $217. So Riviera's $217. The Grand Flow is $217. All the other properties, the sold out ones, some of them are ridiculous. Aulani is $217, which is crazy. So, we sell Aulani for like
what's
$100 a point. So
what's fancier, the Grand Floridian or Riviera?
Which is fancier?
Mm-hmm. Which you feel fancier in? Because Trevor and I took a little walk over to the Riviera, and I kind of felt like Riviera. I felt like it was almost a little fancier than the Grand Floridian, in the style of it.
No way.
That's how I felt. I felt like it was very, very upset.
No way. The Grand will always be the Mac Daddy of all the DVC resorts in terms of one of those places where it's like, oh my God. That's how they sold the Riviera, is they literally said, well, it's like the Grand Floridian of Epcot. That's what the vacation guides would tell people. It's like the Grand Floridian of Epcot.
But if it's the same but newer, is it better?
No, it's not better. No. You don't walk into the Riviera lobby and go, oh my God, it's so amazing. It looks like you're in the lobby of like a Westin or a Hilton. Or
the lobby is one thing. Yeah. I felt the ground.
It doesn't matter.
The
so I can look out and go see
better.
The Caribbean Beach Resort. And I could look to see the Skyliner and all that. Versus the Grand Floridian, when you're there, you look and see, okay, there's Cinderella Castle. There's the Contemporary, or there's the Polynesian. There's 3 resorts.
What's the nicest hotel you've stayed at ever?
Ever?
Yeah.
Oh God, probably the Four Seasons in
where?
Maui.
Oh,
Maui.
Nice.
And how does that compare to the Grand Floridian?
Oh, not even close.
Okay.
Not even close. The Grand is amazing by Disney standards, but even if you go to, and my dear friend Marissa loves the Four Seasons that's here in Florida. It's
on
night
Disney
and
property,
day.
right? Yeah.
Oh,
I wanted to stay there. That was on my list. We almost stayed there last time.
It's incredible. It is incredible.
I can't get past the Tennessean. So I stayed at the Tennessean and I just loved it so much. But we had our own butler and everything. So it was like and driver. It was kind of crazy. So I don't know. I want to stay at the Four Seasons in Florida and see, but the Tennessean is on my list.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, it's incredible. And it's one of those where like you think that Disney's, and that's what always made me nuts was like people would look at the Grand and say like, oh, it's so polarizing. It has always been from the beginning, even before DVC came on. It was always so polarizing because people would be like, oh, you know what? We're not Grand Floridian people. Like, we're not Grand Floridian people. Like, what do you think Grand Floridian people are? I mean, it's still a Disney resort. It's still a DVC resort. Like, it's not anything insanely fancy. Like, everybody is happily welcome at the Grand Floridian. It's just, I mean, if you don't like the atmosphere is one thing, but it's not like, the cast members are snootier or anything else. It's just, I love the Grand.
I wish that was the experience. I wish it was like this whole sort of like snooty experience, but like on purpose, like kind of like Rise of the Resistance, but like snooty.
Snooty.
At the Grand
character snootiness.
No, I'm saying I wish it was. That would be awesome. Like if everyone just like acted it out like it was the best place in the world and like super, snooty and stuff like that.
It's still a Disney resort. That's what I love to tell people. Like, again, you can go stay at, the Grand. You could stay at the Poly, which is always my favorite is the Poly. But like, it's still the Grand.
What if there was a resort that you couldn't stay at unless you bought into it?
Wait, what?
I said, what if that existed?
That you couldn't stay there at all unless you bought into it? I mean,
yeah. So like the reverse, just, hey, that's the like kind of like a resale Riviera contract, but
I was just
not in that
Riviera, but yeah.
Isn't that basically Beach Club at this point?
I kind of feel like that. My parents wanted to go to Beach Club and I kept telling them why. Like, what do you think you're going to do there? Like, it's, no.
I mean, once you go to the Beach Club, you realize like the rooms are really nothing. Like, I don't think the resort itself is that great. I mean, again, it was an afterthought. It was, built on to the existing Beach Club hotel, but it's the pool. I mean, the pool.
Yeah, and that's what I told them. I said, "Are you guys using the pool? No, then why would you want to stay there?"
Oh, then
pool and location, right? Pool and location.
Yeah. I mean, you can walk to Epcot in like 6 seconds, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, if you're not going to
take the Skyliner instead,
don't stay at the Beach Club. And that's what people will tell me all the time. Like looking, because probably the number one question we get is people that are learning about the club for the first time is, hey, so I see I could buy Vero Beach contracts for like, $50 a point. Why would I buy the Beach Club for like, $130? Like, because you're probably not going to get into the Beach Club, but if you buy like a Vero Beach or if you buy something else, if you're fine not getting in to those resorts, then of course, then honestly buy like a Saratoga Springs, it's probably your best bang for the buck is, Saratoga. But if you have a favorite, and some people love the Beach Club or the Boardwalk, you've got to buy those resorts because life's too short to just be disappointed for, 20 years at 7 months out if you can't get into those resorts. And those are probably the 2 hardest resorts to get in at 7 months out.
All right. Well, that's Derek, I think there was something too before before we just go on to regular questions, I think there was something we were talking about before the show about some sort of hot deals thing or something you want to talk about.
Oh yeah. So in February, we started on February 1st. If anyone's seen or exists on social media, which I know a lot of your people obviously do, we have some deals which are called our red hot deals, which are literally listings that are 10% below the actual market value. There's no haggle pricing on these deals. So meaning there's no wiggle room, meaning you don't have to negotiate. You don't have to worry about it. These things are insanely popular, and we get more and more every single day. So I think we've sold like 70 or 80 of these listings already in like the first, since February 1st. So just make sure you have our phone app. Make sure you go online. You can even filter and look for, the red hot deals, because again, these listings are some of the lowest prices that you'll ever see. And they go incredibly, incredibly quick. And it will end at the end of February. So I always hate to be like, this is the perfect time to buy, buy now, buy now, buy now. But literally, if you like these, because I will have people every single day say, what does offer accepted mean, or what does sale pending mean? And like, it means it's gone. And they're like, oh my god, I love that listing. So yeah, red hot deals. If you're thinking about buying and you don't want to worry, like your question about the ROFR monster, now is definitely kind of the perfect storm to be able to do both. So yeah,
I just pulled up your listings, and a perfect swap for my my one contract was there, and it got offer got accepted already. It's already gone. So 110 point Animal Kingdom in March each year is what I'm looking for. And then you just sold one of them. So
see,
man. Anyway, so let's get to some regular. If you want to hang around, Derek, if you want to hang around for regular questions with us, it's up to you.
Of course.
Okay. Well, I think Damon really wants to answer this question from Chris.
Which one? The Chris's question?
Yeah.
Sure. So do you all Tennessee people, do you see yourselves more as theme park people or Disney people? We view ourselves as Disney people, whereas we see Damon as more of a theme park guy, which is why he sometimes isn't as interested in Disney, because it lacks some of the theme park appeal. 100%. I am a theme park person. I am not a Disney person. The fact that they're, making a Toy Story 5 makes me even less of a Disney person at this point, I feel like, because that's just terrible. You did see that Tim Allen is back. Or no, wait, yeah, right. So, and he said something about Woody. Why? Listen, 4 is too old now, but how is Woody in 5? Why should he be in 5?
He
shouldn't be in 5, man. He's gone.
No, they can't make it. Okay, we were going to talk about this later, but if you want to talk about this now,
we're going to talk about it right now.
But obviously, in my mind, you can't make a Toy Story movie without Woody and Buzz, right?
But he's gone.
No, he's not gone. He's just doing something else. So in my mind, the whole movie is going to be about the two.
Else?
He went off with both.
I understand what he did, but what do you mean? Like, he's gone? Like,
no, but you're making it sound like he's done.
Is he emailing Buzz? Like, how are they keeping in touch? Like, dude is gone.
I mean, they found Bo Peep without it. I mean, it's like, I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, my guess is the entire movie is going to be about the Woody group and the Buzz group getting back together in some way, shape, or form. That's what I'm guessing. And I don't know how they're going to do it, but they have to have both of them in the movie. There's no way they do a movie without Woody. That's just not going to do it.
They should. But anyway,
ended with Toy Story 3.
Yeah,
it should have ended. Yeah. It should have ended.
Toy Story 4 was it wasn't that great.
Nonsense.
If you were going to end it 3, though,
for Toy Story 4, no reason for it.
You needed about another 5 minutes, though, at the end of Toy Story 3 to really fully wrap it up.
Yeah.
And then they could have just totally finished.
Right. It should have finished. It was literally the perfect trilogy, and Toy Story 4 came out, and it's just terrible.
What about
Top 5, I think, is going to be even worse.
But it's like, hey, let's come up with a character based on silverware, like a Forky. Like, that's cute. We'll sell $1 billion worth of merchandise. There's no reason for Toy Story. Toy Story 3 ended perfectly. There was no reason for a Toy Story 4, let alone a Toy Story 5. Makes me nuts.
Yeah.
How did we get on this? Sorry, Trevor. What were you going to say?
the only redeeming quality of Toy Story 4 was Duke Kaboom.
I was going to say Duke Kaboom was great. Yeah.
Yeah. But back to the question. Yes. I mean, totally a theme park person, not a Disney person. I mean, if I have my order, Disney is third. I mean, it's not even first or second in terms of my theme parks. And I'm going to kind of lump Dollywood and Silver Dollar City together. And on a side note, I was not a Things Are Always Sunny in Philadelphia, whatever that show is. I'd never seen it before, but I kind of was started to watch it because I had nothing else to watch. Like right before I was going to bed, I'd be like, oh, I need to have a show on that's not like really like I have to pay attention.
Think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't realize Charlie had a Silver Dollar City shirt on from like a few episodes that I was watching. This must have been season 6 or 7. And I was like, man, that is great. So yeah, so Universal, I would say, would be second if I group them, and Disney third, because I'm just more about the rides. And Disney just doesn't have the rides. Like they really just don't. I mean, I think Universal has better rides. Again, I think when it comes to coasters, they're not even close. And I can't do some of the other places like Carowinds and what's that other one up in Ohio or whatever.
Cedar Point.
I have no interest because there's, when you start talking about places to stay, I was talking to one of my friends that just went there, and I was like, well, where'd you stay? Yeah, see, I'm not staying there. There's no great place to stay there. Nothing that's that little notch up. So I love the rides there. We're going to be doing a Dollywood, Silver Dollar City Dollywood trip this summer. And I think I'm definitely a theme park person more than a Disney person.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this is just, maybe I'm just, arguing semantics here, but I see like a Carowinds or a Cedar Point as an amusement park as opposed to a theme park. I think theme park is more what Disney is as opposed to an amusement park.
Okay, but you're just glossing over Universal, Dollywood, and Silver Dollar City.
No. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm saying Universal I would consider theme park, and Disney I would consider theme parks, and I would say the other ones that are, giant roller coasters and some theming thrown in here and there, I consider those amusement parks. Like that's.
So what's Silver Dollar City and Dollywood?
Those are amusement parks. That's what they're.
They're not theme parks, even though Silver Dollar City is literally its own real city based on the West.
I guess. I guess you could say that. Yeah. I'm just saying that a theme park to me is more like it's deeper than
theming?
Just like, actual theming. Yes. Thank you, Trevor. Yeah.
I mean, Dollywood and Silver Dollar City are themed. I will give you that over Carowinds and things like that, but I don't like those places like Carowinds. So, I mean, I'm good with that.
Sorry, Trevor. What else were you going to say?
Nothing, because I mean, I'm a Disney person because it's too prohibitive to be a theme park person from where I live.
There you go. That's a solid answer.
I would kind of consider myself both. I like going to regular amusement parks. Like we've been to Carowinds a bunch.
Did you just say both? Did you just really not?
Yeah. Why can't it be both? Why can't it be both? I like both. I like going. See, for me,
you have to. There's got to be a little bit that pushes you one way or the other.
No, but see, for me though, okay, I would say maybe then. I mean, I look at it as I see Disney as the ultimate theme park. So for me,
then you're Disney.
Makes me a Disney. No, but it's more of I love theme parks, and I see Disney as the pinnacle of theme parks, and therefore,
if you're going for rides, where are you going? Disney or somewhere
Disney,
else?
Yeah, Disney.
Okay, then you're a Disney person. I think it's pretty easy. You ask me where I'm going for rides, it's not Disney.
Well, because you're going by like you want the roller coaster that goes 80 miles per hour, right? Like that's not
even like.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that, Tom. I know where Damon's coming from on this one. It's Disney. Disney is good at what Disney does, but that's.
Well, I think we can take something as easy as a log flume, right? That almost everybody has. Does Disney have the best log flume? And let's just go with new, old. I don't even care which one you pick at this point, even though we haven't seen the new one. No, they don't have the best log flume. Definitely not even close.
Yeah.
So if I take something and compare it across the boards, it doesn't have to be just roller coasters.
Yeah. Yeah. Splash Mountain's pretty basic if you actually look at the ride structure itself. Sorry.
I mean, the Universal one is way better. I don't know. That's just me. I think there's rides that are kind of cool.
Why do we even do a Disney podcast?
Time traveler.
I thought
I don't understand this now.
I mean, I like Disney, but it's definitely third for me. I mean, listen, if this all of a sudden morphed into a Dollywood podcast, which again, some of the reviewers think it does, like, oh, I'm all on board. Like you got to tell me twice. Yeah, I'm doing 2 podcasts.
I just don't agree with either of you, but
unless you're paying for me to go to Dollywood, it's not happening. We're not turning this into a Dollywood podcast, but no, Tom, Yeah, the thing is I know what I know you're upset at me now because I said Splash Mountain is basic.
No, I mean it's a log flume ride, right? There's only so much you do with a log flume ride, but it's different than your like if you go to a regular amusement park that just goes up a lift hill and then just goes down again. It's obviously a lot more than that.
Correct, but there's other log flume rides at other parks, like I've seen the one at Universal and whatnot. They do different things with it. Like it's, you can get different types of drops. You can get more creative with it. And Disney chose not to. They've got three drops in it, and with one that does the down and up, and that's it. You can get more creative.
I think the thing for me is Disney has the best IPs. Yeah, I'm going to say the best IPs, right? So I'll give you that. And I think it's just been a transition. If you asked me when my kids were Tom's kids' age, I might have answered this differently, right? I would have probably said Disney people. But I think that's just morphed as the kids have gotten older. I think that's where this comes from. But so it's not necessarily always a knock on Disney because there's a lot of things I love about Disney. It just, if you're talking about rides and things like that, I go the other way now. Listen, I'm going to give myself X amount of years. My kids are going to have kids, and then it may start the cycle over again. Then we'll be back to being, Disney people again rather than theme park people. I think that's how it works for me.
100%. Like me personally, I've always said I'm a Disney person, just regardless of through and through. I used to be able to find those people and say, so if you have a trip to Disney World coming and you're staying in your DVC resort, if Disney called you and said, just so you know, none of the attractions, none of the rides are working, do you still want to come down for your vacation? Now, all the restaurants are open. You can still walk around the parks, but you can't do it. A true Disney person would be like, yeah, 100%. That's me. I don't care anything about the Disney rides because the rides are not that great. They're not. That's it. But the difference is I go to Universal once a year for Horror Nights, right? Mm-hmm. I get my Express Horror Nights,
which I still am very upset that I haven't done yet. It's like
I pay a ton of money for that. That gets me my Universal fix for literally the whole year. By the time I leave after one night, I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to come back here. I know their rides are amazing, and I know everything else is great. I don't want to go back. Whereas Disney,
there is no Universal bubble, right? Like I'll totally give you that, right?
100%.
But I'm going to say, and again, I think that if I take Dollywood and the staff members at Dollywood and the food at Dollywood trumps Disney. So talking about a bubble, it's not
really pretty location too.
Yeah. The problem is it's not a full bubble, but it is starting to get there because there is that, they have the Dream More and they're opening a new resort next year. So there is something to be said about that Disney bubble. That's great. Like not having to get in my car for anything.
Right.
Is really, really awesome. I find Disney now, as we've kind of progressed a little bit through our Disney journey, to be a lot more relaxing than it was previously, which is crazy, right? Because we don't go that often, maybe once a year now, on the off chance, maybe twice a year, but it's more relaxing. But there is something about that bubble. Listen, I love Disney. It's just not my, 1-2 love. It's my third one, but that doesn't mean I don't like it.
Right. We're here in Central Florida. I'm literally surrounded by, if I wanted to go somewhere, 10 minutes away, I can go find some ride to scare the crap out of me or go do this. I could be at Universal in 10 minutes and stuff, but there is the bubble, like you said. I don't care if you're flying in from Utah, you're flying in from Canada, you don't have that sense of, like you do if you went to Universal. Right? If you went in state, I don't care. You can't compare it. Universal's great, but Disney, I don't care how many times you've been there, still to this day, you pass under those gates. So the sign that says, welcome to Disney World. I still get excited. I still blow my troubles out every time I, enter those gates because you're entering a whole new world. Universal, it's like it's right off of I-4. It's right there. It's like, okay, the rides are great, but other than that, you don't have this sense of like, oh, I just want to be here and like walk around and look at all the beauty and everything else. Even the Harry Potter land is amazing, but it's like, okay, it's too small. So if they maybe had like a whole place, but yeah, I'm 100% a Disney person. That's it.
I I'm shocked that you were saying that Disney rides are not great. I'm blown away. It's like, how are you even possibly saying that?
Sometimes you have to hear the truth, Tom. Sometimes
that's absurd. It's an absurd thing to say.
What?
Disney experiences?
Look at like Pirates is nostalgia.
Yeah, but now you're talking about rides that were built 50 years ago. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about all the new
Guardians
stuff done.
Guardians is awesome, but there's the Velocicoaster at Universal is way better. It's way better than Guardians. It's way better.
Coming on the show again.
so Tom, the thing is I'm usually one here defending you with this stuff. Like Disney makes really good.
Stop the episode right now.
I'm about to stop the podcast. Forget.
Disney makes
over.
No. Disney makes really good experiences, but the guys are right. I do spend a lot of my free time looking at coasters and other stuff around the world, and there's places that I'm like.
I do this
it's
too.
Like, it's like wow, like that. I would love to go on that, but they do beat Disney out. Like there's plenty of places that have better rides than Disney, but Disney definitely has a better experience.
I would agree with that.
That's why I go back to Disney. And that's, I think, what we're talking about with the bubble.
That's why I bought DVC, right? Is that feeling of it's comfortable, it's easy, and it's enjoyable, right? Like it's just so easy. DVC is just so easy. There's nothing that beats that.
Right. And it's this warm blanket. I mean, that's what Disney is. Yeah. No one goes on Haunted Mansion and being like, oh my God, I can't wait to get scared silly on Haunted Mansion. You go on it because it's like a warm,
Tom is fuming right now.
No, I don't disagree with that. I agree with that. I'm saying like, it's not like they're known for their attractions and their rides. They win awards every year for their attractions and their rides. So like you're trying to tell me that they don't do good rides? Like it's absurd. Absurd.
No. These are so you're
I promise you that I follow this more than any of you. I promise you that I know more about any of these rides than I'm telling you, this is what I like.
You can know about them, but riding them and then riding other rides.
I don't.
Then you would know.
We're talking about different things though, right? Like Universal has a market that they're targeting, right? And Disney has a different market that they're targeting. Could Disney make a roller coaster that goes 80 miles per hour and does 20 loops? Of course they could. Are they going to? No.
You're talking about these rides at Universal like they're not themed, like they don't have huge IPs behind them.
I'm not saying that they're not. I mean, listen,
it's got just as good of an IP.
Yeah,
and it's a better ride.
They're doing targeting different people. It's not the same.
So in that case, I don't think it's fair to assume that we're speaking in absolutes either.
Yeah,
because nobody here is saying that Disney has the worst rides.
Right.
I'm not saying they're the worst, but when Harry Potter first came out and that first Harry Potter ride came out over there was nothing in the world. They were bounds ahead of Disney, and I don't think they ever gave that back. And that could be, when it came out, the most unique, coolest, newest ride that ever existed.
It's not even Harry Potter, though. It's when Spider-Man came out. When Spider-Man was cool, yeah. When Spider-Man came out at Islands of Adventure,
there was nothing like that.
There was never anything like it in the world. Never. Yeah. And it's still.
And that's an IP. Right?
It's Disney's IP. Yeah.
It's Disney's now, yeah.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it has been for a while, but.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't think Guardians of the Galaxy was a Harry Potter ride or was a Spider-Man ride. It just wasn't. They don't do that. No. They don't make the coolest, newest rides.
Right. It's super fun. And it's unique, and people love it because they say, hey, what song did you hear? It's great because there's nothing like it at Disney. I mean, literally, when you're at Epcot, what else is even close to doing Guardians? You're going to go to Guardians and then do Test Track, which is like going on the expressway and rolling your windows down. I mean, it's not that crazy, exciting, or thrilling.
So I look at it through the eyes of my 14-year-old because he...
right.
Well, because, to him, he doesn't know a lot of stuff outside of Disney. But, when we rode Guardians, that was huge for us. For him, it was an amazing experience. And so for me, it was. In the back of my head, I know, there's other stuff out there that will blow his mind even more than Guardians did. But for now, that's why, Guardians is still one of my favorite rides, because I have those memories with him and he'll never forget it.
Yeah.
But I also know we're going to one up it again at some point.
And that's interesting, Trevor. So I will say that Disney is also in a way better position at making memories than any theme park that exists or has ever existed, for 100%. The way that they, bring you together to make these memories, and just the way that they had, because they have photo pass, everything together just makes it a whole different thing. Yeah. Again, from an experience standpoint and things like that, absolutely. Gosh, all right, we got to move on here. So
I don't even think we went down with questions. I think we're done with questions.
Yeah, went down a huge rabbit hole.
Yeah, no.
I wanted to answer Dan.
No, hold on. We can't skip this question. I'm sorry to say. Can't skip the which IP related city, country would you want to see highlighted in a park, and which park would it be best for? I don't even care about the which park would it be best for. This is a cool question.
Yeah.
Right? Duckburg, Cape Suzette, Wakanda. This is a toughie. Like, I was thinking about this as you kind of put it up. I think the examples unfortunately force my mind to a place immediately, which makes it difficult to get out. So you have me now debating Duckburg versus Cape Suzette, and I'm at a little bit of a loss here, right? Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know which one I would want. And I think for me, if we're crapping up Epcot kind of like we've crapped it up from what it was supposed to be already, dude, I'm telling you, put this in the World Showcase then. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, give me a Duckburg or Cape Suzette in Epcot World Showcase. I don't think I could ask for anything more, but I just don't know which one I would want. I don't think I can answer that. I think they're both great.
I would take Cape Suzette purely because Tailspin, I feel, is a little bit underrated.
Definitely underrated, but I still think it's original DuckTales, I think, is better for me. But I think Cape Suzette is more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have a good answer to this. I think the Wakanda idea is fun because you could do like all sorts of high tech stuff. I mean,
yeah, that would be cool, and that might fit more with Epcot.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be weird at Epcot. I feel like anything we're going to add that's not a real place at Epcot is going to be weird. I don't know.
But that would be the cool thing about Wakanda is that as they do in the movies, it'd be very unassuming from the outside, it wouldn't be that big of a deal until you walk in and then you're like, whoa, this place is crazy, right? Like that would be a cool experience.
All right, I'm sorry, I just had to get that one in there.
You did. We need to do an ad here because we are like way past all this, so we're like way too far in at this point. Okay, Trevor, you want to go ahead and do this one?
Why isn't Derek doing the ad?
I mean, you want to make Derek read the ad for his? Well, it's not even his part of the company though. It's for Rental Store.
I'm not going to read my own ad.
No, that's what they. That's why they.
I will take care of the ad.
Wait, can you do like ad libs though, Derek? Like while he's reading it, or no?
No, of course, yeah.
Please don't do
that. I can pretend to be like a client, and then kind of throw in and say, like, "That's true. That's amazing."
It would have been better if I would have timed this to have DVC Resale Market to be the sponsor of this episode, but you guys were the sponsor last week, so go ahead, Trevor.
Okay. All right. DVC Rental Store, a World of DVC company, offers magical vacations at an incredible value. Save up to 60% off retail rates at premium Disney resorts. DVC Rental Store now includes deposits as low as 25% at the time of booking and a built-in cancellation policy for every reservation. As always, DVC Rental Store pays out the most to members looking to rent to their points. Want to learn more? Go to dvcrentalstore.com or call 1-855-DVC-RENT. That's 382-7368. When you speak to them, let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right. So
you're amazing.
He's so good. He's just so good at that. So let me see here.
Until you break my train of thought, and then it just goes. Yeah,
I don't even know what we're talking about right now. I'm trying to think.
Rescue Rangers coming to Disney Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, yes. I'm just trying to think of what the new name for the podcast is. Welcome to Universal. I don't know, something.
No,
like
it wouldn't even be Welcome to Universal. Welcome to all the theme parks.
Oh, we're just gonna do an all theme park podcast?
Could you imagine? That would be way too much work anyway.
There's too many theme parks. It'd be a lot. That'd be a lot. Anyway. So there's now a coming on February 15th, there's a Rescue Ranger, Chippendale Rescue Ranger character meet and greet coming to Hollywood Studios. So I put this on here because I feel like Chippendale as the Rescue Rangers are the best version of Chippendale, but that's just my feeling.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And again, as I said, that I was super impressed with the movie when I was totally not thinking I was going to be about it. And it was pretty good.
Yeah. Good job. I know you own Rescue Ranger shirts. So
yeah. I mean, I found that one shirt and I was like, I have to buy this because, you know, it's Dale's shirt. Now, the thing that surprises me is that why did this take so long? And it totally made sense for Rescue Rangers to be in Hollywood Studios, thinking about how like the universe of Rescue Rangers is and all that, like how, you know, they're dealing with different people and all that, like having them in Hollywood Studios made sense. But I don't know why I didn't think about this before.
I think that the movie had to come out for it to happen. I just think that, listen, as I always say, I love certain things. And then, you know, I'll watch like new Disney shows with my daughter, right? And we'll watch shows and things like that. And then I'll be like, hey, let's go watch this old 80s show. And she'll just be like, nah. Right. I think, unfortunately, like that nostalgia factor for Rescue Rangers was really heavy for us. But I think it took the new movie to kind of get them out for everybody. That's how I feel.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just thinking, have you watched that new show, Damon? What is it, Moon Girl? And
so I actually did an interview with the executive producer.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I got to see the first 2 episodes a long time ago. The animation style is just absolutely ridiculous. I love it. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. But, you know, if you're kind of following along with my whole, oh, that's right, I'm an expert in animation, right?
So, you are. She's self-proclaimed expert in animation.
Self-proclaimed. So I will say that there's a new show coming out in March called KIF. And it. Oh yeah,
I saw that the preview for that too. Yeah.
Yep. So that feels like it's going to be this mashup of kind of what it looked like to me was like Cricket Green as KIF, right, in an amphibia type world because there's magic and stuff. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that a lot. So we'll see how that goes. And a new character. I always love when we have new IP in Disney, especially new animated IP.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, I'm excited that they're doing this with Rescue Rangers. And by the way, they had no end date for this, so hopefully this is like a permanent offering, or, you know, as permanent can be in Disney. So
regular until people stop asking for it.
Yeah, exactly. I
mean, can we talk about housekeeping now? Because gosh, you know, you got me long on the show already.
Okay.
Flip-flop a little bit.
Yeah, you want to talk about housekeeping? I also put this video game thing on here too because I thought you would be interested in that. I mean, we already talked about it before, but now it's coming out. So
I kind of want to get on Discord and play this with you guys, even though like my family wants to play this, but I feel like it would be very chaotic, which would be fun.
Disney Illusion Island is a new Mickey and Friends game coming out on July 28th. It's a 2D adventure platformer from Disney Games. And it looks like, what systems is this coming to? It doesn't even say it on here, does it?
Nintendo Switch, I know for sure.
Yeah, I knew Switch. Yeah, okay.
I think that's it.
Yeah, just the Switch. Is Switch exclusive, really?
Well, it says pre-orders begin today, so secure your copy in Nintendo's eShop. Obviously, if it was on different platforms, they would say more than that. That's what I would guess.
Okay.
Yeah, they only have ads on for the Nintendo Direct, so it seems like it's going to be starting on the Switch. Whether or not it gets ported anywhere else, we'll see.
All right. Yeah, so I mean, I figured you guys would be interested in that. I do like that it's like a cooperative one too, so we could. Although it says local cooperative, so what?
Cooperative? Yeah, it's a cooperative game, but that doesn't mean that it'll necessarily go the way you think it will.
Oh, of course not. No, of course not. No, I just think it's cool that it is. Although it says local cooperative, so I don't know.
We're gonna have a Charlotte cooperative meetup. Is that what you're saying?
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's what we'll have to do, right? So, all right. So you want to talk about housekeeping, though?
Let's talk about housekeeping. I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I don't know if I care, but
that's why I was surprised you brought it up because I wasn't sure.
I mean, I kind of care. So the Walt Disney World housekeeping update you've been waiting for, is that your headline, Tom? Or
no, that's their headline. Shockingly, I was a little shocked that they put that as the headline, but you know,
I was waiting for housekeeping.
Some people were, man. I mean, listen, maybe it's just because we're DVC members and we're not used to having housekeeping anyway. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, you have some sort of housekeeping as DVC members when you're there for any length of time, right?
Yeah, but just not the daily. You get the So go ahead.
After like 3 days.
Yeah, you get a couple days. Yeah.
And what was it now? Was it the same for us? I forgot.
No, so they weren't doing daily housekeeping on all like the regular rooms.
Yeah.
So that's all. That's really all they're doing is they're bringing that back.
I don't know. I like that. I think if you're staying in a room, I mean, housekeeping is definitely a thing. I don't know. I like it. I'm about it.
I like having.
I like housekeeping. I like a clean room. What were you saying? Yeah. Sorry.
I like having the option for it. You know, it's not that I need it every day, but
yeah. Well, it doesn't say though. So they took away the option to pay for extra housekeeping for your DVC room. It doesn't say that they brought that back. So it's more just saying now they're going to have full housekeeping room cleanings. Well, it just says available at all of our resort hotels. I don't know. I think that excludes DVC, but they don't exclude DVC in this article. I don't know. But I'm sure a lot of people are happy about this. So I had to put it in there because it was a big piece of news item that I saw floating all over the groups.
And when I saw that headline about housekeeping coming, I've just been a DVC member for so long that I'm so used to like you guys just not having housekeeping. And I'm like, and I kind of prefer it that way. So when we stay outside of DVC, it's almost like, oh God, we have to make the room look kind of presentable before we leave because someone's going to come into our room. Whereas when you're a DVC member, you're like, I don't care. No one's not going to come here for a couple of days.
I guess the only other big thing is that do we care about the Frozen and Zootopia movie? I mean, we talked about Toy Story, but do we care about Frozen? I don't care about Frozen.
I mean, my daughter will care about Frozen. Yeah, I mean, am
I one of the only people that like Zootopia was just blah?
No, I like Zootopia. I thought
it was just blah.
I enjoyed it. It wasn't like the top movie for me at the time, but it wasn't bad.
No. But the thing about Zootopia, though, is they did like a lot of world building there, right? So like even when they do a Zootopia 2, they don't even have to have the same main characters. They could go a whole different direction if they want to, which I think they should. It'd be kind of cool.
And do you think they're setting this up for
the land?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, because the movie, if they're just announcing it now, the movie's a couple years out, right? And I mean, part of the other stuff that's in this article is Iger is... I mean, he said, let's see, he's very, very bullish about our parks, not just because of the COVID recovery, but to start with, demand on the parks is extraordinary right now. We could lean into that demand by letting more people in and more aggressive pricing. We don't think either would be smart because we let more people in, it's going to reduce the guest experience. Let me see the other part here, though. He was talking about how pricing was too high and it was alienating customers, which, is true. Let's see.
The question is that since we're getting a new Toy Story, Frozen, and Zootopia, listen, I understand that Frozen hype may have been waning a little bit, especially when they have that ride in the park. It makes sense, right? You got to kind of bring back that thunder to a ride that, that you destroyed a good version of for a Frozen version of. And then, but why Toy Story? Like, what is the park? Right? Like, I mean, are we just missing out on the land? Like,
I don't think it has anything to do with the parks. I think they're trying to prop up the movie division.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's all about them because they feel like if they put out any Toy Story movie, it's going to bring in, $800 million to $1 billion in the box office.
And do we think this one is? I think there's going to be a lot of people that are the ones that are paying for this that just aren't going to do it. I wish they would bring back this Disney Plus pay for it sort of thing like they had during COVID. That was, I think, the best because there's no way I'm going to the movie theater to see Toy Story, but you might catch me on some $29 in my house experience of Toy Story.
I'm just saying a lot of people didn't like Toy Story 4 and it still made $1 billion, right? Like,
yeah. No, but I wish that's what they would bring back because I don't think I'm going to the theaters again. Like I just don't see myself in the theaters. So
yeah, I'm off on the 20th, so I'm going to go see, and nobody else is off. I'm the only one off in my house, so I'm just going to go see Ant-Man by myself because nobody else wants to see it. So, well, nobody else being my wife. My daughter's not going to go see it. So, but yeah, I like nowadays, Damon. You pick out your spot, you pick out your seat in the theater. Got recliners. You put your feet up.
There's weeks that I literally don't leave the house for 4 days straight. I really don't need to see a movie.
I feel you, Damon. I'm right there with you. I don't want to go to a theater. I know we can, but I don't want to.
I don't need to anymore. Technology is too cheap.
And it's not even a matter of, being antisocial about it or saying, I don't want to go out in public.
Oh, I'm antisocial, but I feel you. Yeah.
But it's just like you said, my house is set up well enough. And like you said, with Disney Plus, I can watch whatever I want when I want without being distracted by other people, or, if I have to get up and go to the bathroom, I don't miss, 5 or 10 minutes of the movie if, depending on how long you're in there for. Right.
True.
No, I get that. Yeah.
But I feel too like it's almost like in this day and age, you have to have an event and you have to have a reason to go to the movies, especially if you're a family, because it's not cheap to go. So I think Disney looks at this and says, if there's any event that someone's going to actually pay for a family of 4 to go to the movies, it's not going to be to go see, what was it, Seeing Red or whatever that movie was.
Turning Red. That movie was great, Derek.
Turning Red.
I didn't even see it.
I'm not saying it's great, but I'm saying I'm not. If I'm a family of 4, I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, let's
$100.
Down $60 to $70. But you know what's a slam dunk? Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, Zootopia 2, that I will pay for. The only movie I saw last year was Avatar 2 because it was an event and you had to go see it in the theater. Anything else, like Damon said, I will happily wait till it comes on streaming unless you give me a reason to pay that much money to go to the theater.
But if you gave me that option, like it used to be $29, I would do it. Listen, here's the other thing when you start talking about money. Disney needs to follow suit here. This Hogwarts Legacy thing is unreal from a video game standpoint. Unreal.
Oh, the hype
Disney needs
crazy.
to do that.
Yeah.
We've been playing it, and like I wish there was a Disney sort of game like that. I think they really need to do that.
Could you imagine a game where like you literally can go like down World Drive and go into the Magic Kingdom and then leave and go? It'd be so amazing.
Yeah,
they have the Disneyland version of it. It's Disneyland
version.
Yeah,
which we played, and it was listen, it was very simplistic, but like I'm saying, like what about like those? What are those Disney park mystery books? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Kingdom Keepers.
Kingdom Keepers.
Yeah. Give me that in this Hogwarts Legacy feel.
Yes,
all day. That would be one of the coolest things to exist.
When my wife finally listens to this episode, because she's still like way back catching up on episodes, she's going to hear you say that, Damon, and she's going to love you.
Yeah, I think that's, like I said, this Hogwarts Legacy is unreal. So I think that Disney definitely needs to follow suit here. They definitely need to follow suit.
What do you do in it? What is it? I mean, because I don't care about Harry Potter, so
you're a student at Hogwarts with all the magic.
Yeah, I mean, you get sorted into your own house. Like you walk around the castle, everything is there. Like it's pretty much the Unreal Engine. So think, what's that fantasy one? That superhero Skyrim or something like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like that, but Harry Potter. But Tom, the graphics are unreal, and it's just so well done. And I really think that Disney needs to make something like that.
Well,
it's a good immersion in the universe of Harry Potter.
Really is, yeah. Like I'd pay that $80 for the deluxe version over going to the movies. Like, and this is where it kind of brought it up for me. Like, I'd rather pay that $80. There's way more hours of entertainment involved than something else. So that's what Disney, I feel like. Give me a Toy Story. Even give me Toy Story, and like that, I'd do Toy Story. Like that would be kind of cool.
Well, my wife has been playing a ton on Switch. Dreamlight Valley. That Disney game that's out. It doesn't sound. It sounds different, obviously, but she's like obsessed with that game. I've not played it, but
it's that one. Those like farming simulator type games.
It's no. It's not really doing that. She said she's doing like mission. There's like missions that you do, and like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I guess sorry. It's not farming simulator, but it's like in the same. There's a bunch of games in that where it's like my wife plays the same type of games as well, and they're great, and ton of value in them. But what Harry Potter is that this is like an open world sandbox experience in the world of Harry Potter, which Disney needs to find something like that and go in on it, because that would be amazing.
Wasn't Kingdom Hearts something like that? I didn't know much.
No. Kingdom Hearts was a weird fever dream.
Yeah, okay. I was just saying it had all the characters in it and all that kind of thing.
It's a little more.
That was the only
rail-based.
thing it had in it.
Yeah, a little more rail based. This is pretty much open world like Skyrim. It's unreal, and the graphics are just everything is so well done. So I think that Disney needs something here.
Yeah,
and you can make your own character and literally make it look exactly like you, and you could do as much or as little. Mm-hmm. So it's just so immersive that you could literally just spend like the whole day just kind of walking around Hogwarts or flying a broom. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I wish I was interested in Harry Potter because I feel like I'm like really like missing out on something. But
so you want to hear
I've ever seen about it, I'm just like I don't get it.
You want to hear something funny though? So my son is his first year at college, right? So he's taking a Harry Potter class. They have a class, an English class. Yep, an English class on Harry Potter.
That's great,
right? Oh, crazy, yeah, because he's a data science major, right? But he's got to fulfill English requirements, so he's taking Harry Potter. It's just unreal, right? So my daughter's a huge Harry Potter fan, so like sometimes he'll call her up like, "Hey, so book 2, right?" So it's pretty funny, but yeah, I mean, Tom, like it's that big, like it's.
Oh, I know it's huge. I that's what I'm saying. Like I feel weird that I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like I want to get it, but I'm just like, okay. Like
it's an interesting sort of ramp up of a story too, because it starts very juvenile, book 1, and then kind of works its way up. And I think that if you were part of the experience of the books coming out and going to the bookstore and getting them the day they came out, it makes Harry Potter a whole different sort of thing than it is now, when you can just, hey, it's over and done with, and go get 8 books or whatever the case may be. So,
right. I mean,
it's kind of the same thing I feel as Star Wars. Like it's also the world building. The way that Star Wars kind of built on itself, Harry Potter did the same thing. Like that, movies came out, the world expanded, all that kind of stuff. And now, with this game, they're just taking it to another level. Right.
And it's kind of funny because like I see the same way in the Percy Jackson. Like I really want to watch it, like the new one coming out to Disney Plus, and I really want to read the books, but I just can't get behind it. I don't know, but I think it's going to be a really cool Disney Plus show. There's been a lot of good on Disney Plus lately, to be honest with you. And Mandalorian's coming out 3, going to be out. Season 3 is going to be soon.
Yeah, that should be. Yeah, I think that's coming out very soon, right? There's a lot of good stuff coming out in the next couple of months, actually. So
yeah, I can't catch up on everything TV wise, just in general. I definitely fall behind. Disney Plus, unfortunately, I have a Fire Stick and a Roku, and the Roku's in back of the TV, and Disney Plus doesn't work as well on the Roku old stick, and it will reboot. So sometimes I don't get around to watching as much Disney Plus as I want because I'm too lazy to switch it.
Too lazy to do it. Yeah.
Did you watch The Bear on Hulu?
I don't like it at all. I've tried at least 3 times.
Oh my God. Forget it.
Yeah, I just don't.
All right, bye. I'll see you later.
I tried. I really did though. Like, so I tried at least 3 times.
Finished it last night, and I don't know, maybe because we lived and grew up right around Chicago, but oh my God, it was so good. Like, it's one of those. It's not.
I was three episodes in, and I don't even know what it's about still.
It's what? Oh,
yeah.
God. Demon.
The one thing though is I do try everything, so it's not like you asked me and I didn't try. Like I tried.
He did try.
I did try.
Just like I sent you the hats. I tried.
So way back at the beginning of this conversation, what I was going to say, and I found what I was going to say, is Bob Iger was talking about capacity in the theme parks, and he basically said that they want to, instead of just letting more people in, they want to build new things to eat up more people, right? So
okay, that's a good thing.
Yeah, which is a good thing, right? So, and he said, he said we've learned that when we invest in increasing capacity, Star Wars would be a great example of that. Pandora was a great example of that. We can grow our business. If you look at Pandora, Animal Kingdom, stunning how many people visited Animal Kingdom. And so that's the other thing too. Speaking of Avatar, so they said on this call they're bringing an Avatar experience to Disneyland. And when I read this, I was like, okay, well, calling it an experience is feels vague. So it makes me think they're going to do some sort of VR thing like they were doing at Disneyland with like Galaxy's Edge. And, remember they were testing out those MetaQuest things at Disneyland? We talked about it a while ago.
Yeah, in downtown Disney.
That's what it feels like to me. I doubt they're going to build a whole Pandora at Disneyland. There's no room for it. Where are they going to put it?
It'll be a meet and greet somewhere in California Adventure.
I feel like it's got to be more than that, though. You're not going to announce that in an earnings call and not have more than a character meet and greet. It's got to be more than that.
Maybe it's a show.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, they have done stuff like this before, and unless they're announcing like a whole new ride or a land, and right now, space is at a premium in California. It's very hard to do. I can't see them doing anything more than, hey, here's a small area you go into. They did the same thing with Frozen. They had like, they used a temporary space and they did like, it was like a winter, like you could make snowmen and stuff like that. Like, so it was like a little experience thing. They had a meet and greet in there, but it really wasn't a lot. And I feel like it'll be the same thing with Avatar. There'll be some sort of meet and greet. Maybe they'll use the mechs like they have in Pandora, but I wouldn't expect anything huge from that.
Yeah. I don't expect something. I immediately assumed that they were just going to do like a VR experience or something. Like, I don't know what else they would be doing, but that would be even said worse. Attraction. He just said experience, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
That would be even worse. Just a VR experience. To me, don't get me wrong. The time that goes into building VR stuff is legitimate, but from a theme park standpoint, it's very much dialing it in because there's no actual cost involved from the theme park. It's just paying a developer to do something.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I mean,
literally could be like what they do at the Hollywood studios too. Like when there's a new movie coming out, they'll take like one of those sound stages and like quote unquote turn it into if there's a new Pirates of the Caribbean movie or
it's like a walkthrough kind of like props and stuff like that. Yeah,
that's 100% what it's going to be. Because again, they use the word experience. They didn't use the word attraction. So that's the key right there.
I do have to say though, like this call made me like feel really good about like they're going to add more stuff, right? Like they're going to start like this year we're going to hear announcements of new lands and new rides and attractions and stuff because and this is part of what we get with Iger instead of Chapek, right? Is he understands? I feel like despite the fact that Chapek ran the parks for so long, I feel like Iger gets the parks more than Chapek did, right? Like I just feel like he does. And so, like, based on this, like, it just talking about expanding, and he was talking to Josh Giamara about this, about, adding more to the parks, and, they've got $6 billion outlaid, this year for new projects. So, I mean, I feel like we're going to hear a lot of interesting stuff sometime soon here.
It is. Yeah. It's just unfortunate that, in the midst of announcing, Toy Story 10 and Frozen 6, that, by the way, we're laying off 7,000 people.
Well, yeah, that's not great either. No, that's not good either. Yeah, that is.
His is a position I would never want to be in because, running any business, there is always two sides to it. Even when you're, talking about the new stuff coming and positive, there is always, unfortunately, negatives. And I'm not going to debate whether or not laying off people is right or wrong because it is very situational, but I understand being in his position, sometimes you do have to make hard decisions whether you want to or not.
It's definitely unfortunate though. It's not, although it seems like the cast members in the parks are not really going to be affected as much. That doesn't mean that it still isn't terrible that's happening, but I mean, I know they're trying to get every person they can get for the park. So I can't imagine they would be laying people off in the park. So, but yeah, I mean, I just thought there were some interesting things in that earning call, especially around the parks. And, listen, for me, I mean, my daughter will be very excited to see another Frozen and very excited to see another Zootopia. She likes Toy Story, but she's, I don't think she'll care if another Toy Story comes out, so I bet if another Frozen, I mean, sure. that's fine. I'll take it. I mean, I'd like to listen to some new songs, instead of all the songs from Frozen 1 and 2 over and over again, like we have to in my house. So,
are there really songs in Frozen 2? Because I think I've seen it like 3 times, and I still don't even know what it's about.
Derek, you're so down on the Disney stuff. What's going on?
The Frozen 2 songs are really not as memorable as the first ones.
Listen,
all I remember is the one that's like,
yeah,
she loves that one. My daughter loves that one.
That's like the headliner song.
I actually like the first. I like the first song than the one that they open with. What is it? Some Things Never Change. That's the one. I like that song. That's the one that gets played a lot in my car. Although lately in my house it's all Encanto, so none of it's Frozen anyway. It's all. But I think I listened to the Encanto soundtrack all the way through like 1,000 times probably.
Yeah, I think 14 and an 18-year-old boy. I think I'm out of the Frozen 2 soundtrack.
Yeah, you are. That's a fact. Yeah,
I'm right there with you, Derek. Yeah, I've got a 14-year-old, and I was going to say, part of me kind of misses, for us, it was Cars 2 was a big thing when my son was growing up, and I miss part of that. But now, my son's asking me about like Walking Dead and Breaking Bad and stuff like that. And
it's a little different.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
Yeah,
but part of me is still like,
hey, that's great news. There's an early episode of The Last of Us came out on Friday, so he's all excited about that. I know.
Yeah, right. Those are where our conversations are going. Is like into that kind of stuff. Which the funny thing is that I know, or in despite of talking about all that stuff, when I say to my son, "Well, maybe we won't go to Disney," he'll go, "Well, hold up. Wait, what do you mean we're not going to Disney? Like even for all the other stuff." He still wants to go to Disney. It's just we're not watching the Disney movie. So it's kind of a weird thing, right? Like, yeah, they grow up, but they don't really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and not to go back into that wormhole, but it's like the memories that you have with them at Disney are going to be the memories that you remember, not the memories of riding a ride at Universal Studios.
Well,
it's just not.
Probably true.
Yeah, we should probably call it here.
Okay, well, just two more things I want to. Okay, just two more things. So
okay.
I just want to get back to like again in the earnings call they we're again talking about how they're managing capacity and how during the holidays they actually had it 20% less capacity, which I thought was interesting. Like on purpose, not like 20% less people showed up. Like they made it 20% less, which is kind of crazy to me, but. I mean, the parks are doing very well financially, but again, I'm looking at all this and I'm like, all the things that Iger said in the call are they are listening to the feedback and they are making changes. Like it feels very positive to me. Besides the layoff piece, that's not positive. So,
yeah.
but yeah, go ahead, sir.
It's interesting because I remember people like before Christmas, there was a lot of people being upset about not being able to get reservations at the different parks.
Yeah,
and so that makes sense, if they cut capacity by 20%, that totally lines up with it. But I guess, all we heard was the negative side of that, which is, the people that wanted to go that couldn't go, which, is always going to happen, especially at Christmas. The thing that we haven't heard, and I guess maybe that's what Bob is alluding to is, the people that did go probably had a better holiday experience than previous years.
Yeah, and that's what he's saying here, right? Is that the experience is better, right?
Yeah, which I'm okay with. Like I love going there and not having a ton of people around me. So if they're going to control that, great.
Yeah, he says, in fact, if you looked at our results this past holiday season, we actually reduced capacity, certainly improved guest experience, and we're able to maintain profit. So. Again, this is an earnings call, so of course he's going to talk about profit and things like that. But, but he's also saying they're looking to get more creative in terms of managing capacity. But like you said, the best way to do it is to add more stuff. So that's the good news, right? Like that's the good thing is that they want to add more things, and I think that's something we all want them to do. So.
I'm now,
and also talking about making days cheaper too. They were talking about the cheapest tickets being only 15 days a year, and they increased that to be like much more. I don't know if the numbers actually to 50 days a year. So like they're trying to make it more accessible too, which I again, considering they are looking for more revenue, like the fact that they're lowering prices in certain areas is a big piece of news, I think. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah, for sure. I was just going to say, after Damon mentioned Kingdom Keepers, I feel like they need to like figure out some way to like bring that into the parks, or like open up a whole new area of, something that like not an existing IP, or, another Toy Story Land, I guess.
Yeah. I get you.
Yeah.
How is that series not even like a Disney Plus exclusive by now? It's crazy to me.
What are you talking about? What series?
Kingdom Keepers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of surprising to me too. I thought they were going to make something of that, weren't they?
I don't know. I mean, it just seems like such a no-brainer, to
I know.
just throw it on Disney Plus. I mean, not on like the big screen, but on Disney Plus, it's perfect.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's infinite promotion for them for any IP they want, because you can just roll, whatever's coming up, you can roll it into the show, right?
So apparently there was a Kingdom Keepers show that was in production, like that it was in, they were looking at making one, but they killed it off for some reason. That I don't know.
Of course
the
they
answer
did.
to. But this article is saying that they killed it off in favor of doing The Mandalorian instead. So, which I mean, I guess worked out for them.
Okay.
I mean, this article says, actually, this was Kevin Smith that said this, oddly enough. I guess he was working on the show, and he said they scrapped Kingdom Keepers and instead they greenlit The Mandalorian. So I don't know.
Well, I don't like that now.
No, you don't like that. What do you mean? Because you can't be mad about that because the Mandalorian's good.
Well, no, I mean, I'm a little fed up with Star Wars at the moment. Like I've had too much of it, and I'm tired of it. And so finding out that they could have done something cool like that, but they scrapped it in favor of Star Wars, lessens my view of it.
All right. I mean, listen, nothing ever dies, right? So they could still do it.
They definitely could, because if you've ever been to those Disney conventions and whatnot, I've been to many of them, and Ridley Pearson, who wrote The Kingdom Keepers, has some of the longest lines to meet him and have them sign his books and take pictures with him. It's ridiculous. Like his line at the last one I think I went to was longer than to meet Jodie Benson, who's the Little Mermaid. No joke.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. All right, well, the last thing I wanted to talk about is how annoyed I am that all the foreign parks get all the good stuff. So I was showing my wife this video of the Elsa animatronic that's coming to their Frozen Ever After ride. Did you watch this video?
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, it's just annoying that they get the really great stuff. And I know the reason behind it is because Disney doesn't have to pay for it, right? Like they don't pay for the stuff over there. They're in a partnership. The companies, overseas will pay them to build this stuff, and they basically don't have a budget, and so they can do crazy stuff like have a realistic looking Elsa like this, and meanwhile we get the one with the screen face. Yeah.
I mean,
are you watching this right now, Trevor? Is that what you're doing?
Well, I'm going back at it. I feel like it's the same animatronic. I think they just upgraded the face.
They upgraded the face. Yeah, they put a different head on it, right? They put on like an actual moving face. I think you're right, though. But I mean, the movements of it look very fluid. I mean, not that the one at Epcot doesn't, but I mean, it looks pretty fantastic. If my daughter saw this Elsa in real life, she would think it was really Elsa. Like for real. Like she would think it was actually Elsa, for sure.
Well, now you're planning a trip to Shanghai.
Well, actually, it's Hong Kong. But
sorry,
yeah,
Hong Kong. My bad.
Well, we're used to Shanghai getting all the good stuff, right? So yeah.
But, I forget that Hong Kong and Shanghai are different parts, because I just whenever it's they get something, it's like, oh, just that park overseas is taking stuff away from me.
Well, there's doing stuff that I wish I could have, right? But I mean, even like this whole frozen land looks pretty amazing. I mean, it looks pretty incredible what they're building here. They got the whole mountain and everything. They got all of Arendelle built here. I mean, the whole drone video that they have in here, it looks very cool. But again, it's all the foreign parks get all the good stuff, right? So I don't know. Maybe they'll upgrade one day. You would think it wouldn't be that hard to upgrade an animatronic, right? You think it'd be fairly plug and play, right? Like they just come in, they pop in the new one. No.
Yeah, they run on USB-C.
Yeah, right. You just plug one cable in, you're good.
It's like your phone, right? You just unplug them and plug a new one in, and you're good.
But really, though, how complicated could it be? It can't be that good. I mean, like,
oh boy.
I mean, I anyway, but I just wanted to talk about that. So what we're talking about is the Hong Kong Disneyland is opening a whole frozen land, like a whole frozen themed land. They're going to have a family roller coaster there. And then they're also going to have a Frozen Ever After ride, which I don't know if it's going to be the same, but really the only look we've gotten is this Elsa animatronic that actually like has a moving face and doesn't have a screen. So
yeah, it looks like the same kind of positioning as Elsa on the balcony in Frozen Ever After. So
yeah, I mean, who knows that they might not replicate the exact same ride. I mean, like given like a blank slate, I guess they could make the ride path different if they wanted to, and because they really just did a retheme of Maelstrom and they worked with what they had. So
yeah, I don't know how sold they are. Just rebuild Maelstrom.
Just
right. Like
we got the plans for Maelstrom. Just do it again. Just
yeah.
Go ahead, Derek. What were you going to say?
As long as it has all those catchy songs from Frozen 2, Tom.
It's listen. They don't have any of the Frozen 2 songs in the Frozen ride. It's all Frozen 1. All right, let's wrap up. This has been a long episode. We didn't even answer any like regular questions except for the one. But Derek, how can people reach you if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions whatsoever, you can always shoot me an email, is always best. So you can just fire me off an email at Derek, DEREK, at DVCResaleMarket.com. And of course, let me know that you heard us on Welcome Home Podcast, which I told Tom, and I sent him a picture.
Oh, yeah,
so,
that's right.
It's very exciting now. So when anybody out there makes an offer on a DVC Resale Market contract, well, one of the last questions that we're going to ask you is, where did you hear about us? And now the Welcome Home Podcast is one of the drop-down options that you can click. So as opposed to the old way of having to type it in, it's right there on the Dropbox. So we're always love to be able to hear from you guys. So again, any questions you have, you don't reach out when you're, necessarily only ready to buy. If you just have questions about the club, how it works, buying, selling, reach out to me, Derek at DVCResaleMarket.com, and I'm happy to help.
Trevor, we finally made the drop down.
That's
I feel like we finally made it.
It only took how many years?
Yeah, we finally made it. We finally got to the drop down.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. Thank you so much for doing that, Derek.
All right, so Derek,
you did it yourself, right? You went in there and you actually added us to the drop down.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Trevor, you want to go ahead and wrap us up?
Okay, so yeah, as usual, if you guys ever want to reach out to us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing your questions, trip reports, all that kind of stuff. If you want to follow us on social media, on Facebook, find us as Welcome Home Podcast. You can also find our group, the Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. Great place to get involved with the conversation, see some of the memes as we talked about earlier, ask questions for the show. So if you're not in the group yet, come join the group because it's one of the best groups on Facebook. I'm just saying. I mean, you can try and disagree with me, but it's the truth. And on YouTube, you can find us as Welcome Home Podcast, and Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. Great places to follow us whenever we do live streams or go to the parks. You can see photos and stuff as we're touring around. And if you want to help support the show, go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out some of our merchandise. We got shirts and mugs and all kinds of fun stuff there that just helps us keep running the show. And in the same vein, you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and see some of the different levels of Patreon support we have, which have exclusive merchandise that you cannot get in the store. And if you support us through Patreon, it will also get you access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we like talking to our listeners. It's a another fun place that we see all kinds of interesting things. That who was that? Brian, I think, posted in there as we were doing the show about listening to Wang Chung, from our episode the other week there, Tom. So
everybody have fun tonight, right?
Yep. So make sure
dance all days though. That's just me, but
that's fair. So if you guys, if you're not, if you're not in the Discord, go have a look at Patreon, because I think the Discord is as much fun as the Facebook group. So come hang out with us. Last but not least, if you're listening to us on iTunes or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review, because it does help more people find the podcast. And, we do like reading the reviews on here as well, because we do get some interesting ones.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I don't have any. So
there's...
I don't have any new ones right now. But we did have a lot of great ones recently. So I feel like I should have saved. I did 2 last week. I should have saved one. I was hoping we were going to keep getting more, but unfortunately not. So,
all right. Well, people leave more reviews.
Yeah, exactly. Don't forget to subscribe to the Welcome to Universal podcast, so you can be reminded every time you're. Oh wait, did I say what Universal?
Come on.
Gosh. Oh no.
Oh dude, come on.
2. Don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast, so you can be reminded every time we release an episode. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app out there. You can find us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC cast member or regular Disney cast member or Derek for more information about anything we talked about today, especially DVC Resale. So huge thank you to Derek for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. Well, always fun when Derek is here. So thank you, Derek.
Oh my God, I love it. It's my pleasure. But we didn't even have a chance, and by the time the show comes out tomorrow, so who's going to win that little sporting event later today?
Oh, it's the Super Bowl? Well, I know
your
Trevor
Super Bowl.
I know Trevor doesn't care. Well, this will be funny because we come out on Monday morning, right? So everybody will know the answer. Well, I will say this. My wife is an Eagles fan. I am not an Eagles fan. My parents are also Eagles fans. So, but as a Giants fan, I refuse to root for the Eagles. So I must root for the Chiefs. I do think it will be a very close game and a good game, hopefully. So, but I do hope that it's hard because I don't want to root against my wife, but it is what it is. That's what she got when she married me. So.
Correct. The Eagles will win.
Oh, are you an Eagles fan, Derek? Or are you just
no,
no,
not at all.
No, okay,
not in the least.
Not in the least. Okay.
But they will win.
All right,
that's it.
I can't wait for this to come out tomorrow and see if you're right or not.
Yeah, exactly.
If Derek is wrong, free hats for all of our listeners. That's if
the Eagles win, 10% off all DVC points.
Oh man, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, no, delete that part, Tom.
Delete. Oh yeah, I'll take that out. I'll take that out. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Derek, for coming. We really appreciate it. We always love when you come. So thank you for...
you guys are the best. Seriously,
hanging around.
Your audience is the absolute best. I've been blessed just to make so many friends over so many years of being able to do this show. So you guys are just the absolute best. So thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So, and thank you not only to Derek, but to DVC Rental Store for sponsoring this episode, and then World of DVC, of course, for sponsoring the podcast as a whole and doing so for many years now. So please check out the variety of different services that World of DVC has. I always want to say World of Disney, but join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.